Howdy folks, this is Tony here, and I never thought in all my years I would be making a video like this, but for the first time in my life, I am going to make a video complaining about a radio host. So usually in the mornings, I have been listening to AM 790 WNIS up until yesterday because I've decided to just not listen to it until Sean Hannity comes on, or if I'm early enough to catch Clay Travis or Buck Sexton, because I find Tony Macrini as a radio host to be completely repulsive, and I wish he were replaced with someone with a better perspective. Let me tell you what started this complaint that I have. Yesterday, they were talking about the recent school shooting in Texas, and a caller came on the show who identified himself as a Christian, and this caller said that what's wrong with society is that we've gotten away from Christian values. The caller said to Tony Macrini that we got rid of prayer in schools, we kicked God out of church, out of every arena, out of society, and because of that, we have lost our Christian value, and because of that, we're not a safe society or as safe as we should be anymore. Now, I pretty much agree with a lot of what the caller said, but Tony Macrini became totally rude to this guy and basically just tried to shut him up. The first thing Tony Macrini said was, I don't know what the hell you're talking about they've kicked God out of the church. Well, he did not let the caller respond to that point. He just went on with this weird, it sounded like an Ayn Rand inspired rant that he went on, but they have kicked God out of churches. Why do you think so many churches are secularizing? They're abandoning doctrine. All you ever hear them talk about is positive only affirmation. They never want to correct someone when they're wrong. They never want to actually say what the Bible teaches. And they're trying to just be more of a political organization that takes your money every Sunday, as opposed to an actual organization that's glorifying God. Yes, if you look at how secularized even churches are becoming, yes, God is being kicked out of churches. And so I find it ironic that Tony Macrini, a guy who probably isn't even a Christian, is claiming to be the authority on whether or not God has been kicked out of church. So that's strike one. Then strike two is, now this next point is kind of a moot issue for me, but in strike two is, when the caller said that we should bring back prayer in the schools, Tony Macrini got angry and was like, oh, that's ridiculous. If we have prayer in schools, then that's a state religion. And if we have a state religion, that makes the teacher the state priest, and that's unconstitutional. Okay, but here's the thing. Christianity is a religion that teaches love thy neighbor as thyself. That teaches to honor the Lord. That teaches people to be a good person. Of course, you would want that as the background of society, because what they're substituting it with now isn't working. So fundamentally, I don't have a problem, but here is the problem with that. Whether or not it's constitutional, I question whether or not public school is an effective tool to educate society. Because if you look at test scores, you look at how these adults that have graduated from high school are performing on the job, public school is not up to scratch. So we don't even need to debate whether or not there should be prayer in school. I want to debate whether or not the school should continue to be a thing, because I don't believe that public school is the most effective way to educate youth, especially given all the technology that we have. So that one's kind of a moot issue. But here's strike three. After Tony Macrini discussed the state religion in the schools and all of those things, he went on this weird, I personally think that Tony Macrini is probably an agnostic who reads Ayn Rand's writings, because he went on to say something like, we don't need a religion for morality, we just need common sense and reason, and humanity's mind is going to reason to the right answer. You don't steal because it makes you feel bad. Now, here's the thing. If you have a sociopath whose conscience is seared, who's unable to feel bad about what they do, then their human reasoning is not going to compel them to do the right thing. That's why this whole secular humanist approach to morality makes no sense. If you have the pedophile is going to use his logic to try to rationalize his pedophilia. He'll say that child was coming on to me. The murderer or the serial killer is going to try to rationalize his murder. He'll say, oh, that person I killed had it coming. You see, you can take any sin, any crime, And if that person is able to twist their logic into justifying their crime, then they're going to obviously continue with it. That is why you need something above man to tell man what to do. You need something outside of man that can be the objective moral judge. You need, where there are laws, there must be a lawgiver. You can't just count on human consensus for morality, because no two people are going to 100% agree on everything. That's why we need a God whose ways are higher than our ways, whose thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So personally, I would like to see Tony Macrini replaced with an actual Christian who might be less taciturn and terse towards the callers and the people that are listening. But again, that's just my opinion. And to be honest with you, I'm probably not Tony Macrini's intended audience. I am not a baby boomer who has a DVD collection full of MASH, I Dream of Jenny, Gunsmoke, and what else do people of that age probably like? Downton Abbey, Dr. Quinn, and Masterpiece Theater. I am just of a younger demographic than what probably normally listens to his entertainment, so take it with a grain of salt. But I feel as though the man is past his prime. He's just got to go. I don't want to even listen to AM 790 in the mornings if Tony Macrini's up there, because he honestly just comes off as the grumpy old man. Hey, get off my lawn! Who wants to listen to an angry boomer who doesn't even understand the morality of humanity? That's just not interesting to me. But anyway, that is just my personal complaint, and just take it what you will.